Friends, colleagues and listeners, here we are, another podcast from good old Miami, and I've got Kristof the Smedt with us from CCT, which is Cold Chain Technologies, and Kristof is the Global Business Unit Director. So, lovely to have you on board. We've been talking about this for a long time, Kristof, so I'm glad we've managed to meet up here and get you on board. So I'd like to do first is I'd like to ask you, how did you get into this side of the business? And just tell us a little bit about the company.
Thanks, Chris. It's a great opportunity to be here in Miami, finally talking to you. So my background is coming from pharma, life science. I was intrigued with all the airline and air cargo movements of products. So the link between cold chain packaging and the airline community is actually an ideal spot. It's temperature sensitive, it's time sensitive, so these guys are working together very, very closely to make that happen.
So when you came in, what did you see as the main opportunities or the challenges?
It's actually, when we kicked it off, the business unit I'm heading is thermal blankets. They were designed for the tarmac exposure time. Still today, talking to various airlines and ground handlers here, is still an issue. They don't control the environmental climatological conditions, so they need something to protect the integrity of the product. So we still have a purpose.
Oh yeah, no. I remember way back when the blankets were first being brought in, and the one thing that always concerned me though was the manner in which they were looked after once they were used. And I would imagine that's still a problem, isn't it?
Exactly. So typically at the very early stages when thermal blankets were developed, it's a single-use solution. With the regulation around the EU Green Deal, sustainability, etc., our company, Cold Chain Technologies, is heavily focused on coming up with new innovation. So we have actually brought into the portfolio a reusable blanket that is more robust in performance, but is also more bound to reuse. Still, the single-use solutions keep their place, because it's not, talking on Latin America, in Africa, not all of these regions have their infrastructure to support the reuse.
But again, coming back now to the way that people have I see an awful lot of examples of people not realising the responsibility they could have to make sure they were better kept for reuse. And I think that education and appreciation is something that's so important.
So we are heavily working together with various associations to do this education. It can start with simple steps, but it's indeed that awareness. That's how can we collaborative support more innovation, more reuse and reduce waste. Because in the past, many cold chain packaging was just single-use, thrown away. By doing operationally some improvements, you can make already, and it's with small steps. But
it's getting there. And now that leads now to something else, because obviously the argument was always that it was single-use and it was just rubbish being discarded afterwards, even though some of the single-use could still have been used a second time, in my opinion. But the question that I was asked about, I'm just trying to think now, it was before Istanbul, so probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. And somebody said, look at all the money that's being spent on all these big facilities and, for cool storage and everything. And they said, surely there's more of an opportunity to make sure that the preventive packaging, so the packaging that can cater for all the different extremes for a period of time, that it's easier to focus on that than it is to build all this infrastructure and,
It's down to the type of protection that is needed. We see now in our industry the upcoming growth of cell and gene, ultra low temperatures, that requires preconditioning. You can come up with a solution, a packaging solution, 96, 48, 120 hours plus, but the moment you hit temperature ranges going minus 100, and that's a complexity. So it's always a trade-off. Like, yes, reuse, but our team is also looking a bit to the total cost of ownership. Sometimes it's bound to be reused, but then if you line up all the logistics, because the reverse logistics, sometimes it's better to go with a single use. Is that the ideal situation? No, but there's also cost and economical efficiency that comes into play, right?
And also areas that haven't invested heavily in infrastructure or
Exactly.
buildings, you've got products that they can use in their facility for storage again.
Exactly.
And how's that working out?
I think we had a great conversation here at the TIACA forum at the starting reception. Like, in view of the sustainability today, you've got flows with pharma, you've got flows with perishables. Maybe it's time now to look at combining those. Because I see there's a lot of flows coming from EMEA, US, Latin America with pharma. But there's also a lot of perishables coming back. Today these are completely
separate.
Because there's different regulations, but maybe from a sustainability point of view, we should maybe look at that flow. Like, is there leveraging possible? Makes sense.
That's a good opportunity. No, exactly. What do you think now are the challenges now facing us, in the industry for next year and beyond?
So the biggest challenge, I think, on our end is going to be in the cold chain packaging, keeping up with innovation at a cost-effective point. Because there's investments that need to happen. It's a very competitive market. The industry and the stakeholders, it's no different in the life science segment than in air cargo. Sustainability, getting more environmentally friendly solutions, and that's going to be a big challenge. We need to invest, we need to come up with new innovation. There's a cost to that. But we also want to be mindful of offering solutions in the market to make sure that people all around the globe get access to life science products.
Exactly.
It should be affordable. But again, you come to the collaborative aspect. We are just playing a very small part. Typically, it's no different than years ago. They come to us if they have a big issue where maybe they could have reacted a bit earlier in the process, and then the issue was not that big. But it's you're at the end of the supply chain. Where we actually push more, and I see that we are getting closer to that point, collaborating with end users at a very early stage. That is very beneficial to us.
And I would imagine, and I was trying, it's just gone from my mind now. The organisation, Yvonne Siegler heads it up. And they do all the mapping and the risk assessments and everything else like that. So, do you think that now upstream should have a lot more responsibility of how they direct the supply chain and what products are used and how it's used?
I think they still have the talking on life science. The manufacturers have the responsibility regulation-wise. But although that is the driving factor, you need to ensure that all the stakeholders in your process are aware.
That's the point.
We had a very good session a couple of weeks ago with Pharma.aero, bringing together all these business stakeholders, as I mentioned to you, and there is really the big opportunity. All the stakeholders have their own responsibility in the chain. We should not stay in the isolation of each pillar.
The silo,
every player has its deliverables, its core business, but it's only by understanding the challenges of all the stakeholders that we can come to a good, decent solution.
But aren't you surprised that there's still gaps in that collaborative approach?
I'm not surprised. Looking to pharma healthcare, it's a very risk-averse industry.
Exactly,
And although there is a need for collaboration, there's always a difficult area there. But we'll get there. It's continuously sharing experiences, and that was for me very beneficial. Hearing like, what are the issues that this industry is facing? It's not a standalone thing. So
no, I agree. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, looking around, and obviously people are aware when they see pharma, perishable. They're aware, but sometimes they're not compliant because of a competency issue or a lack of clarity in the message of how to do things. And consequently, there's quite a bit of damage or loss. Now, are you surprised by that, or?
I'm not surprised, but this is why within Cold Chain Technologies we have actually set up a team. It's called Customer Care, where actually we consult. Because talking on the life science industry, these guys are making life science medication. That's
Yes.
their core business. This technology within cold chain packaging, the need for ultra low temperatures is a very specific market.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of knowledge in the industry as such. So we are helping understanding what is the needs of the products to come up with a good solution. That's a bit where the expertise of players like cold chain technologies is becoming more and more important.
Yeah.
Like trade lane validations. We had some discussions in Dallas as well. That's key. We need to understand, and it's evolving.
Yeah.
It's not because it's today like that. I hear that very recently there was an issue in Sao Paulo. It came all out of the blue.
Yeah.
Then you're in BCP modus. Maybe you have never thought on that it could happen, and then
Well, yeah, exactly. And do you think there's an opportunity for your side of the business to actually educate and help people be more appreciative of that as part of their own risk assessment or worst case scenario?
Sure. And that's a kind of servicing that we are offering, and we see that it's well appreciated by customers.
Yeah.
Just trying to understand what is the real issue.
Yeah.
And again, it's coming always back to that collaborative approach.
Yeah. I went to a location that does lots of the testing and the samples and then also the packaging. And the one thing that stood out to me is every single person there, they knew the products, but they knew what the products were there for. So when you talk about customer care, they knew that one product was for diabetes or another product was for some cancer treatments or preventive measures, etc. And they knew it everywhere. All of them knew it. And when you talk to them and you ask and you find out why is it that they know it so well, they genuinely do care, because what they say is every single one of us has had an experience or an issue where a member of the family or friends has either fallen ill or whatever, or children or whatever, and say it's very personal to us.
It's recognizable.
Yeah, exactly. And as a result of that knowledge and appreciation, I mean, the way they handle things is superb. Then, as soon as he goes out the back and gets onto a truck, you wonder, do those levels have the same appreciation? And I just think it's a shame that they don't. Yeah. I really do, because even people in the warehouses, our warehouses all around the industry, if they knew more about what it was that they were handling.
It's not just a box you're carrying.
Exactly.
And that's where I'm very appreciative of the statement in our company was one of our corporate things, our work matters.
Yeah.
So people really feel valued because they contribute to getting medication to the patient.
Yeah.
At the end of the line, there's someone needing a medication, a treatment.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get there in a good condition, the people or the person might not be with us anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where really we are very proud to be part of that whole thing, and that is coming from what are we doing, what is the products capable of doing, what is the impact of our activities.
Yeah. And getting that pride of being in that industry. And my son said to me a couple of weeks ago, we were just having a drink and a joke, and sometimes I feel I should apologise to him for bringing him into this industry. But he said he's got an MBA, and he said most people think that stands for moving boxes around. and do you know what I mean? There's no sort of reflection or respect.
Exactly.
People just turn do this, do that, and it's a bit haphazard sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think if people knew more about it, it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
To know that everything that you do properly is having a positive impact on somebody else, who for whatever reason is less fortunate, and you're making that difference. It's so important what you're doing.
Exactly, and I see the same trend in the freight forwarding space, in the airline space, niche markets coming up. Like, it's not just you go indeed from point A to B. There's much more.
Yeah.
It's finding really your how can we differentiate? How can we do things better? That's
and like you said, trade lane risk.
Exactly.
I mean, you'd be surprised the routes that people will do, because they know that they're more effective than some of the direct routes even at some points.
Exactly.
Which doesn't make sense at all, does it?
Yeah.
Especially not from a carrier's perspective or a handling agent perspective.
And then we have not spoken on that, but geopolitical things.
Oh.
All of a sudden there's a boat in the Suez Canal that is blocking. You have to go through. Yeah, it's not really sustainable, but we have to keep moving.
Exactly.
And it's kind of interesting, especially when such things happen. We experience that there is a lot of good ideas. If you have an open culture and people are able to speak up, the great ideas come up.
Yeah, yeah.
At that moment.
And that's what it's all about, and having no fear in sharing.
Yeah.
Because there's an awful lot. I mean, every conference we go to, someone will be talking about collaboration. As soon as you walk outside, they say, "Yeah, it's great to know," but I'm not telling them, and it doesn't go away, which is a shame.
No, for sure. No.
But anyhow, so you love the business you're in, don't you?
Exactly.
And every time I've seen you, you're so energetic,
Thank
positive.
You.
Do you know what I mean? You've always got a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And if you're working in something you love, you're not working really.
That's how I look at it. Indeed, it's a fantastic journey. I can't believe it's already 5 years. I joined the company, but
I remember soon after you joined. You and your colleague, we were having a good chat. Yeah.
And it keeps moving.
Is he still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have grown quite significantly.
Yeah, and you've had some mergers and buyouts, and
we have actually recently acquired a company, Tower Cold Chain.
Yeah, I know.
That is now under our umbrella. So lots of integration happening at this very moment.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to improve our portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it's well appreciated in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Hearing some feedback here, so that's.
Yeah, no,
I really like to connect with the industry and keep the pulse.
Yeah, it's nothing better.
Exactly.
Listen, thanks very much. It's great to have you here. It's taken a bit of time, but it's always a pleasure seeing you. And thanks for joining us. And good luck, great success moving forward in something that really matters. And I love the fact that you said customer care.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Customer care.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, well done. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.